Hello beautiful people, schöne Leute. Welcome back to my channel and my this time recap, not review, recap of 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days, season 3, episode 6. So I'm going to start off with Avery and Omar. Omar has basically secured Avery's mom's support to make sure that he gets his stay in the USA, or she does everything she can to help him to stay in the USA, because Omar is letting her know that if he's not able to stay in the US and it doesn't work out, then he'll have to return to Lebanon or Syria when things calm down. And so that means Avery's gonna be following him, and mom doesn't want that. So she's gonna do everything in her power to make sure or help him to stay to get his stay in the USA. The next couple is Zayed, or Rebecca and Zayed. So we're finding out that we always suspected that, there's no way a young 20-something-year-old would be dating an older woman all the way across the USA, especially a man from a Muslim background, unless there is some motivation. And so Zayed is confirming to us that, he wants a better life, and so he wants to see where things go with Rebecca, because like every other young man that he knows or knows of, he wants to go to the US and secure a better future for himself. So it seems his parents will be in support of this. The next couple, is Darcey and Tom. So Tom Darcey finally forced Tom, or should I say, she finally forced Tom to sleep with her. Yeah, after many tries and many tricks and much crying and pleading, she has gotten Tom in bed with her. And so Tom turns out to be a bit of a softie. He's always getting injured, and he got injured sleeping with Darcey. So he's now going to be introducing Darcey to, he decided to introduce Darcey to his good friends. And apparently one of his good friends is also his ex that he dated briefly. And the ex met with Darcey, and Darcey was very, excited, and, after the throes of, bonding with Tom through sex. And so she is feeling very hopeful about this relationship and very excited, and she feels they're in love and that, things are going perfectly. And so that's what she tells his good friend, who happens to look like the bride from Corpse Bride, but still in her little fabulous way, and very plastic, may I add. But anyways, Tom seems to have a type, yeah? And so she's one of them. And Tom asked her for his friend Rochelle, her name is, but it's not spelled the regular way, Rochelle, what he thinks about Darcey and this whole thing. And she's letting him know that you are not ready for a serious relationship. You're not ready to commit to a person like Darcey, who she picks up is obviously very delicate and should be dealt with kitten gloves. And she says that Darcey's a nice person and Tom is not ready for a serious relationship. Yeah. So we get a little peek into what's about to happen. Tom seems to be stringing Darcey along, and hopefully Darcey will get a clue. Yeah. And know that it's not just the fact that he has an ex-girlfriend who is his friend. That's the only odd thing about this situation. The next couple we'll talk about is Tim and Jennifer. So we're finding out in this episode that Tim has been to Colombia a number of times, 5 times or so. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know this, and I'm pretty sure he never said that. I remember him saying that I love Colombian women, yeah, which could mean, I've seen some Colombian women in the United States, or I've seen them on television, and I find them attractive. The same way a man may say I love Caribbean women, or I like Russian women, but he's never really met them, yeah, or he's probably met them in his country or in passing, or knows of someone who's dating one. But it doesn't mean that he's actually dated a couple of them. And it seems that Tim has been dating a number of Colombian women, it appears, and one in particular who he has dated after his relationship ended with Rebecca. And according to Tom, they've been dating for 3 years, and not just, casual dating, seriously dating and living together. And apparently, we're not the only ones who didn't know this. Neither did Jennifer. Jennifer is finding this out for the first time at her parents' house when she's introducing Tim to her parents. And yeah, she's finding out that he's been making trips to Colombia, and at the restaurant when they were having dinner. Yeah, she found out that this ex has been messaging him since he's been back or been visiting Colombia to see Jennifer. Sorry, guys. And that, according to Tom, he hasn't been responding. Jennifer asked to see his phone, and she was very upset about, the fact that she's still in his phone as Mammy. Yeah, like Pappy, hey Mammy. And so she was really upset about that, and wants to know where this whole thing is going and why he's kept this whole thing a secret the whole time. And, Tom is telling her, this is not important. This is not something to concern yourself about. And that was the breaking point. Yeah, Jennifer stood up, stormed, and before she stormed out of the restaurant, she gave him a good dose of alcoholic beverage, whether it was beer, wine, whatever it is. She basically dosed him around the table and walked out. Now you think that Tim would be very appalled by that and shocked, because it's very disrespectful. Even though he's been acting in a way where you would expect Jennifer to be upset. Anybody would be upset about that. But there's a line when you think about throwing your alcoholic beverage on somebody in public and on television. So according to Tim, yeah, the only thing he needs to do is to try and make it up to her and make things right. And I had to point out the fact that he was dabbing his face like a female, yeah? Like he had on a full face of makeup and he didn't want to get it messed up. That's just ridiculous, yeah? Tim is giving off all these feminine vibes and all the wrong messages with his, over-the-top femininity. And Jennifer is already not impressed. And she's certainly even less impressed about the fact that she's not the only beautiful Colombian woman he's ever dated, and that there was somebody else from her country that was is as special as she is. The next person I'd like to talk about is Caesar and Maria. So Caesar is gonna have us believe that, yeah, he booked because he has rolled out all the red carpet for Maria's expected arrival in Mexico. He's been having a ball and living it up like a king, and now he's expecting Maria to arrive, or so he tells us. And he's asked the hotel to make all the preparations to have his room decorated, and ready for her. And he's also arranged for her to be picked up at the airport because he wants this to be a special moment. And so Maria informed him that she did not board the flight or get to take the flight. And according to her, the flight was cancelled. So Caesar is gonna pretend with us that he didn't, that he, this whole thing is a shock, and he's, suddenly suspicious of Maria, that she had cancelled the flight. And Maria is letting him know that I could not have cancelled the flight because I did not book it. So now he's calling the airlines, because he's like, I didn't cancel the flight myself. So this is very strange, and I want to know what's happening, yeah? Is she lying to me? And so he calls the airlines, and we're finding out that his card that he used to book the flight was declined, or it did not go through. And so there was no reservation made. And to get further details, because according to him, he's asking if maybe something was entered incorrectly, trying to play naive, still taking us for the fools. And the person on the phone, whose name was Noah, was it? Yeah, was like, was like, sorry, your card didn't go through because the bank says there's not enough insufficient funds on your card. And Caesar's gonna have us believe that he didn't know this, yeah, because if I'm correct, Caesar would have been the one who booked his flight to Mexico. And even if he had gone through an agency, the agency would have provided some confirmation to him to say, your flight is booked, and this is what this is your number, and this is what you'll be traveling on. And Caesar's gonna have us believe that after he booked that flight with his so-called card, that he didn't get any message from the airlines to say this was not successful. So, that whole story just doesn't fly over for me. And you can even tell that Caesar knows that that was not a good enough performance, or, what he was trying to convince us of. Because he couldn't even look in the camera directly while lying this time. Normally, he's able to look directly into the camera without blinking and with a smile on his face, a very naive smile, and lie to us, yeah? But no, he was not even able to look in the camera or the producer's face and lie to us. So obviously, Caesar is dragging this whole thing out, and he's trying to take us for a ride. But we'll see how long this continues. The next couple is Akini and Benjamin. So Akini has prepped Benjamin so much for his the meeting with her father, because apparently the meeting with her brother was not successful, and she's letting Benjamin know that this is your last chance, because if my father doesn't approve of you, you'll have to pack your bags back to the United States, and there's not going to be any marriage or any proposal. So Benjamin is under a lot of pressure because, Akini is giving him all the preps, about 20 different things that he needs to remember to do for this dinner at her dad's house, at her parents' house. And she's letting him know that he should not touch her, should not kiss her, not to be intimate. Do not look me in the eyes. Sit beside wherever my brother sits. You need to find that place and sit to his right, or was it his left? You need to say, shake my dad's hand. You need to do it this way. You need to look him in the eyes. You need to this. And she had a full list of things you needed to do, including eat everything that is presented before you, regardless of what it is. Everything you need to eat. So Benjamin was that was like an overload, and he was quite confused. And so when it was time to meet her family, and he went to her parents' house, the mom was sitting there by the entrance, and he walked right past the mom and did not even acknowledge her. And there was somebody else in the room. He did not even acknowledge that person either. He went right across to the brother's side and sat there. And everybody was looking at him, and the mom was obviously appalled, because she's like, how rude. Anybody would be appalled. You come to my house as the woman of the house, and you totally ignore me. So that was a big faux pas from Benjamin. And he was very uncomfortable, you could tell. So was the mom, and she was not having it, and she was not impressed. And Benjamin was there the whole time giggling or laughing, this weird little awkward laugh. And nobody was laughing back at him, because, the brother is not amused. He already has his opinion about Benjamin. And the father apparently was going to be late, or, he hadn't arrived as yet. He was being expected, but he was going to be late. I think he wasn't planning on coming in the first place, because maybe the brother had said something to him and he was not interested in meeting Benjamin. In addition, Benjamin was offered some dish from Kenya. And one of the dish was a full fish with the head on it, which is something I'm familiar with coming from Jamaica. And, he was eating it, and they're offering him the brains of the fish, saying the brain of the fish, saying this is the best part. And he was like a little baby having something for the first time. And the brother is like, it's good, yeah? He's like, yeah. So the brother was really pissed. You could see he was like looking at him like, you're no man. You can't even eat fish brains. And that was probably the last straw. So somebody must have told the dad that this isn't going well. You really don't want to meet this guy. And that dinner ended right after without the dad coming home. And Akini was obviously quite upset with Benjamin. We still don't know exactly what the problem is yet, but she did not want to talk. And according to her, her brother had said something that she thought was very hurtful. So I guess we'll find out the next episode what that is. The next couple is Angela and Michael. So Angela has arrived in Nigeria, as we've gone through the last recap, our review. And after both of them almost being involved in a full street fight, Angela was feeling very turned on about how Michael defended himself, yeah. And so they went back to their hotel or wherever they were supposed to be staying. And Angela had all these interesting toys for Michael, who, he thought it was a bit crazy. But Michael is at the point where, he doesn't give two hoots anymore. He's very open to Angela's antics because he's going to do anything he needs to hang in there to get that that green card, or should I say that spousal card, to get to the United States. Michael has done everything to this point. And there's nothing else he won't do to make sure that everything is secured. And so the next day, Michael, decided to take Angela somewhere because they're going to be celebrating his birthday after the fact, as they planned when she arrived in the country. And no, Angela is letting us know that she's still very upset about the whole thing and about the fact that he went out on his birthday with against what they had agreed, and that she said that he's trying to live the life of a high roller where he has all these women in the background of his pictures. And then when we look at things more closely, we did think Angela was being unreasonable. But, you realize Angela is a very jealous older woman. And even though I have said I liked her personality, it is what it is. She's a jealous older woman. And she doesn't want Michael to not only to interact with anybody else of the same or opposite sex. She doesn't even want him to be out amongst other people. Because most of the pictures that he shows, you had other women in the background with other people minding their own business. Nobody was in Michael's space or, taking pictures with him. But that was that was a problem for Angela. And so she's still upset about that whole thing, and she starts bringing it up again in the car. And on top of that, Michael was taking her on a boat ride, and she remembered that one of the pictures that he had sent was with him on a boat, right? So she started getting all in her feelings again. She's already come and forgotten about the whole thing for the first day, first night, so she could get what she wanted from Michael, if you know what I mean. And then, after that, it's all fair play. She starts harassing the man in the car and arguing, and wanting to bring up the whole thing. And starts getting upset because Michael says he's taking her to this boat thing. And, she's like, "You're lying to me, Michael, blah, blah." And she starts going off. And then she, insists on coming out of the car, that she's not going anywhere. And, Angela is a bit too aggressive, I think, yeah? It was cool when she's trying to defend Michael, but this is like full emasculation. She's pushing Michael around. She's fighting him and making threats, and she's just doing too much, yeah? She's acting like a full war boat. And I don't think that's cool, yeah? I still like Angela. I still like her personality, but she needs to tone down a bit and treat Michael like a man. And, well, she did say her baby's ball dropped earlier. So, she probably thinks of him as her little baby boy toy. But, yeah, enough is enough. And Angela needs to calm down a bit. So she's very upset now, and she's telling us that this is it. This is a final straw. And she wants to have nothing more to do with Michael. But we'll see. Let's stay tuned for Season 3, Episode 7, where Angela will give us a reason why she's going to give it another try. Anyways, guys, this was my recap of 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 3, Episode 6. Thanks for watching. Please thumbs up, subscribe, share, and comment in the section below. Tschüss. See you soon.